So we've got a man on TikTok asking a question and we're going to reply.
Trigger warning, safe space, genuine question. I would like to know from all of the native Englishmen and English women, what do you think would happen if all of the immigrants left tomorrow? If everybody that wasn't native English left tomorrow, including black people, including Chinese, including every race and color, just left England tomorrow, what would happen to the country? Would it thrive? Would the crime rates disappear? Would sexual assaults completely disappear? What do you think would happen? Like, where would you see the country in 10 years? Like, would it just be a utopia overnight? Like, let's have a discussion. Like, safe space. You can say whatever you want. This is a safe space. You should be happy. You can be racist. Like, let's have a safe conversation. Like, what do you think will happen? Let's all have a conversation. Asians, blacks, whites, anybody. You're all welcome. What do you think would happen tomorrow to England, right, as a country, or in the next 10 years, if everybody that wasn't native Englishman or woman left the country? Let me know in the comments, guys.
Right, so let's destroy what he says for a start. Because he is English. Even though he's black, he's still English. This is what people still don't understand on the left. Because you're of a certain colour doesn't mean you're from a certain place. That's not how it works, and it hasn't worked that way for hundreds of thousands of years. So, if you are British but you look Chinese, you're still British. If you are black and you are born in Britain, you are British. If you look Indian and you are born in Britain, you're not from India. You are from Britain. And this is the problem that we have. People like him, as he said, oh, racist, you can be racist. That's not what it's about. Most of the time you'll find the left being racist. Because when we talk about immigration, it doesn't matter if you're from a white country, black country, brown country, pink country, or from Mars. If you come here legally as a migrant, that's very different from illegally. If you are an illegal migrant, you should be exported out of the country, out of the country, straight away. And this is what a lot of the left don't understand. When you are born in Britain, you are British. Your ancestors are from a different country because they was born there. I had someone say to me, well, I'm Jamaican. And I said, where was you born? And he went, Brixton. I said, so you're British? He said, no, I'm Jamaican. I said, have you ever been to Jamaica? He said, no. I said, so I'm more Jamaican than you are because I've actually bloody been there. You are British. And he couldn't figure out why he was British and not Jamaican. And then after a little while he said, oh, well, I see your point. But without us, Britain would never have been built. And I was like, you do understand that before 1948, Britain didn't really have that many black people, Chinese people, immigration before then. It was predominantly, I think, like 98% white or 96% white. It was all built before immigrants come to the UK. And they said, oh, well, that's not what I see on mainstream media, and this is our problem. Mainstream media has made people think that Britain went, got immigrants, got slave labour, and then built Britain. And you go, well, what about the history before that? And they go, I don't know about that. And you go, do you know about the Roman Empire? And they go, no. Do you know about, before that, do you know about the slave trade? And most people don't. And this is the problem that we have. Is they see the BBC and they think that that is what it is from. The BBC is telling them the truth. That slaves built Britain, and without slaves, Britain would never have been built. It's not the case. We do not need immigrants to build Britain because it was already built. So let's move on to the next one. What would happen if immigrants that are coming now left the UK? Crime would drop. There's no doubt about that. Poll after poll, you can go onto the website, they've got it on there. That crime would drop. Would it be annihilated? Of course it wasn't. No country's got no crime, even from its own population. Would sexual assault drop? Yes. Most other countries, there is a poll, and if I remember, I'll put it in, if not, on the website. That shows that Britain are one of the lowest people per, I think, 100,000 rape in the UK. Child abuse. I think the last one that I looked at, it worked out 52% of child abusers were white in the UK. So if you took out non-British, you're probably looking at about 30%, if not more, from other countries that are coming just to abuse children. So, don't get me wrong, if you're white, black, brown, from any country, including the UK, and you abuse a child, you should get the death penalty. We don't have that in the UK because we're cowards, so how about life imprisonment? But you talk about migration as in the whole of migration. Some migration is good, doctors, nurses, engineers, and that. But when you're talking about cheap labour, so that businesses can keep paying cheap wages, it is a problem. Every country agrees with that. They just say, oh, well, it's not happening. Oh, it's not the immigrants that are putting down, it's the businesses. If someone is willing to take a wage that is cheaper than everyone else, of course the business is going to try and earn more profit. Especially small businesses. But we don't get that. People don't understand that. And it still boggles the mind that the left think like this. Well, if we bring in cheap labour, it's better for the country. No, it's better for big business. It's actually worse for the people of that country. Because now they have to take labour, like me. I used to be a doorman. I was on £21 an hour when I was 18. Now, most doormans are on £12 to £16 an hour. Well, minimum wage to £16 an hour. I wouldn't even bother for that now. You're putting your life at risk for that amount of money. Not worth it. Because they can get cheap labour, cheap doorman in. And that is the problem. So, I've answered your questions in many other ways. And I don't think there is really much more to say, but if all the immigrants left today, legal or illegal, the UK still thrive. There wouldn't be a massive change, to be honest. And yes, they say, oh, well, the NHS, normal crap. If all the immigrants left the NHS and the country as an all, there'd be less people that needed the NHS, doctors, waiting lists, schools. Do we want that? We've not asked for that. We've asked for all the illegals to be removed. Not all legal migrants. Stop dumping them all together. A lot of people have come to this country that have come legally. That's very different from illegally. I hope that's answered your questions. If not, ask some more. I don't mind replying. Cheers.